An ancient Cherokee proverb states, "A woman's highest calling is to connect a man to his soul, so he can unite with Source. A man's highest calling is to protect a woman, so she can walk the earth unharmed." As we established in our last episode, this sacred blueprint of protection and spiritual connection is the absolute foundation of all harmony. When this dynamic is broken at the center, the fracture projects outward into our families, our laws, and our history. Welcome to episode 5. Today, we are stepping directly into the urgent next phase of this global awakening. First, we will backtrack into September of 2025 for my second coming, a covenant written on our hearts enlightenment experience. That was the precise moment where I was shown that the second coming is the exact same cosmic event as what the Hopi tribe in northern Arizona calls the Great Purification. Right after I was shown that alignment, Native American souls from the Blackfeet tribe told me under no uncertain terms it is time to heal our manifest destiny wounds. Then we will move into how I named this healing agreement as the Shenandoah Promise, leading my physical visit to the Hopi Reservation on Mother's Day weekend of 2026. Before we explore my travels to reservations and national parks in 2026, let's get back to my childhood. Little did I know as a child and a young adult that my soul was actively preparing me for the Shenandoah Promise all along. My mom always had a very specific second name for me, Shenandoah. It is a Native American word that translates to Great Plains or Daughter of the Stars. Then, in 1995, my life showed me a strong, undeniable connection between the Second Coming and the Great Purification indirectly. While living in Israel and working at the USO in Haifa, I went aboard the Navy vessel USS Shenandoah to help sailors call home. I was doing my job, my daily reality. At the time, I was completely unaware of how hyper-specific, unique, and timely that experience truly was. Haifa is not a standard permanent port for the United States Navy, and the USS Shenandoah was decommissioned the following year. I only held that job for about 6 months in 1995. As Carl Jung famously observed, synchronicity is an ever-present reality for those who have eyes to see. My time aboard that ship was exactly that, a pure masterclass in a living, interconnected universe. When I later remembered that history, it became much easier for me to accept what I was shown during my second coming and Great Purification enlightenment experience regarding how intricately connected we all are on a global scale. When that shift happened, I already knew that the Hopi tribe considered them the exact same event. They preserve this truth on the Hopi reservation at a sacred site called Prophecy Rock. Prophecy Rock shows a stark split in human consciousness carved into stone over 1,000 years ago, illustrating two distinct paths for humanity's future and a petroglyph. The upper path features a Christian cross, symbolizing the arrival of Western religion, leading to a chaotic, hyper-materialistic, and technological trajectory where people become entirely disconnected from nature and ultimately face a jagged line of systemic collapse. In contrast, the lower path remains straight, grounded, and connected to the earth, ending in a beautiful symbol of peace, abundance, and long life. As Albert Einstein beautifully stated, look deep into nature, and then you will understand everything. That elemental depth is exactly what this lower path demands of our consciousness. Driven by instructions from the Great Spirit, the ancient petroglyph serves as a visual warning that this divergence triggers the Great Purification, a cosmic reset that mirrors the exact spiritual mechanics of the Second Coming. According to Hopi prophecy, the purification is a powerful cosmic reset where the unhealed shadows of materialism are naturally burned away. It is an evolutionary crucible designed to strip away systems built entirely on dominance, control, and exploitation, clearing the path so that those anchored in true heart coherence and self-love can inherit a balanced, peaceful world. There are 9 signs of its arrival, with the final sign called the blue kachina, a blue star in the sky. Many people believe this sign was fulfilled by AI Atlas that graced our skies last fall, culminating in its absolute closest proximity to Earth on December 19, 2025. That date is profoundly significant from a spiritual perspective, acting as a massive astrological and metaphysical gateway that bridges the individual heart directly into collective ancestral global repair. That exact date serves as a monumental spiritual gateway that mathematically and astrologically locks my late 2025 downloads into collective reality, aligning a potent new moon in Sagittarius with the highly auspicious Shabbat Hanukkah on the Hebrew calendar 29 Kislev 5786. This rare intersection of cosmic fire and mystical light created the exact psychic friction needed to clear lingering historical illusions, demanding absolute honesty and grounding a direct covenant written on our heart that completely bypasses restrictive external structures. Occurring just 2 days before the winter solstice, a sacred window reserved by the Blackfeet and other Plains tribes for intense ancestral prayer and generational offerings, this date acted as a master energetic threshold where the universe synchronized my discovery of native history with the land grid itself. Ultimately, the 1219 gateway served as the final emotional download phase, seamlessly transitioning my mission from the theoretical framework of the global wisdom of peace plan into the localized physical action of healing our manifest destiny wounds. This day sat in the powerful tension point where the final days of Hanukkah overlapped with the preparation for Rosh Chodesh Tevet, which is the winter month of resolve and inner strength. In Jewish mysticism, Shabbat Hanukkah marks the exact moment where individuals are instructed to place their light in the window, not as a provocation, but as an unyielding proclamation of sovereign presence. This perfectly matches the download of the Second Coming, trusting that the dark boundaries of the past do not dictate the limits of your future light. I needed every ounce of that courage, resilience, and inner resolve to feel certain enough of being Sophia, the divine feminine, the reincarnation of Mary Magdalene, to take the next step on my soul's journey. On that exact day, December 19th, 2025, while the blue kachina was closest to Earth, a video about the Blackfeet tribe found its way onto my YouTube feed. I didn't know who they were before watching that video, but it instantly introduced me to the Intertribal Buffalo Council and Jason Baldes, who is Eastern Shoshone and lives on the Wind River Reservation in Wyoming. My intuition guided me to immediately email him and introduce myself as Sophia, the divine feminine, to lay down the coordinates of this soul contract. I reached out to tell him about the profound videos tracing how the Blackfeet tribe in Montana utilizes summer and winter camps to move the buffalo back and forth. That video answered major burning questions for me. Why Montana? Why summer and winter camps? Why the buffalo? And why our national parks? I shared with him the story of my grandpa, William Blazer, a very hardworking Swiss German who started Mason Mart in Phoenix, Arizona. My grandpa loved to hunt and fly fish, and his den used to scare me to death as a child because it had dead animal heads and fish mounted on all 4 walls. His crowning achievement was a massive mounted buffalo head. Only now do I fully understand why I resonated with that room so strongly. He and my dad loved Native American culture in their dreams. They loved the concepts, but they simply didn't have any idea how to implement them in the physical world. My grandpa's soul has remained a steady, powerful presence throughout my entire healing journey over the last 11 years. I explained to Jason that because I was born in Scottsdale, Arizona, I am deeply connected to the Hopi tribe. I carry 3 of the 4 directions or types of people in their culture within my own matrix. Arizona representing the red people, Switzerland representing the white people, and Tibet representing the yellow people, which is where I originally met my Israeli ex-husband. I have always felt the pull of Native American traditions because my mom felt that exact same pull and took me along with her. She was highly psychic, just like me. She chose 2 names for me before I was born, Carrie and Shenandoah. While Carrie won the legal battle, Shenandoah is here right now for a divine reason, a truth I fully uncovered 10 years after she passed away, falling precisely on my 45th birthday. Long story short, there was a massive soul contract between the American government and Native Americans regarding land management, animal rematriation, and environmental stewardship that was shown to me during the September 25 Second Coming download. When I was shown this soul contract, the Native American ancestors weren't shy about stating exactly what our souls agreed to. I saw the buffalo, the ancestral usage of national park land, and the restoration of a sacred way of life in America. I told Jason that I had felt a relentless pull towards Montana for 2 years without ever visiting, and that I was planning to sell my condo in the spring to move there and back his plan. I never received a direct email reply from him, but 2 days later, I felt the unmistakable spiritual presence of the bison, a massive buffalo herd stampeding directly through my heart space. That was my absolute signal that our hearts had connected positively on the energetic grid. I had successfully made a heart-to-heart connection with the ancestral lineage, and I jumped for joy. My soul's plan unfolded with absolute financial precision. After being laid off in the fall of 2023, my intuition guided me not to get a standard job, but to rely entirely on my severance, my 401k, and the eventual sale of my home. By December of 2025, my 401k was running out, but I trusted the timing. I listed my condo in mid-April of 2026. The very first person to view it wrote an offer with a 3-week close at $10,000 over asking price. I signed immediately. My condo closed the Tuesday right before Mother's Day weekend, and during that escrow window, my intuition beautifully mapped out my road trip to the reservations and national parks. I hit the road that Friday, arriving at my first guided stop, the Hopi Reservation. Every reservation has strict protective rules about visitors, and to see the land intimately on the Hopi Reservation, you must have a trusted guide. The Hopi Cultural Center directed me straight to their premier guide, Donald Tenekohova. The moment I heard his name, I knew he was the right choice. He shares the exact same first name as my dad's older brother. That Mother's Day weekend was backed by a monumental, once-in-a-decade, cosmic and planetary alignment that perfectly mirrored my shamanic work on the reservation. Expansive Jupiter was traveling through Cancer, the sign of the ultimate divine matriarch and Mother Earth. Under that intense cosmic gateway on Saturday, Donald allowed me to video him at the end of our profound tour, capturing a rare 12-minute transmission that I will be sharing directly with all of you right now. I had no idea at the time how truly amazing this man is. Donald is a deeply respected Hopi cultural leader, educator, and the former tribal vice chairman who served from 2017 to 2021. As an elite runner in his youth, he participated in the legendary 1980 tricentennial run from Taos to Hopi, and he continues to view and teach running as a vital spiritual discipline rather than a physical sport. He was the key architect of the Hopi project, spending years building the school curriculum to ensure children on the reservation could preserve and speak their native tongue. He is a renowned singer and a composer of traditional Hopi music and a fierce advocate for protecting ancestral indigenous lands. Let's hear the wisdom Donald shares with me.
Hi, I'm Carrie Blazer. This is my first interview. I just had the most amazing tour of the Hopi Reservation with Donald. And he is a former high school teacher. He's a runner. He's 27. And he took me to the first mesa and the second mesa. And the second mesa where he's from, I was able to buy some pottery and just incredible. He showed me and taught me so many things of the pictographs, and I'd just like to introduce him and let him introduce himself and tell us about himself.
Okay, my name is Donald.
What would you like to share with us about the Hopi Reservation?
What I'd like to share is our analogy of life. Yes, we should never, never, ever go to war. We cannot kill another, and we cannot have a grudge against anyone because you never know who you're going to benefit from. And that I really believe that. So, you not supposed to hurt him and no have a grudge against anyone at all. That's what I like.
Yeah. Can you tell us more about the relationship between men and women and how it's quite different than a lot of Western culture and how the positives of how that benefits your community?
Okay. We regard women as real high price, and nobody beats their price because through them comes the next generation, and they they take care of the family. They keep the families together, and they feed our deities, our ceremonies, and so they're high price, and we're not supposed to ever lay a hand on a woman, any woman for that matter, because again, you don't know who you're going to benefit from. And in our ceremony, we're all communal, and we all help one another, and so that way we're not supposed to have a grudge against nobody. Okay, when we welcome visitors like Carrie here, she's a cloud. We look at her visitors as a cloud. She's a pure, pure person, pure. She brings us pure rain and with lots of vegetation. And her presence here is also nourishing the ground for new vegetation. That's her power.
Thank you. Thank you.
People say we have to keep running. Always have that. Always be physically healthy, because anytime anything shows up, that's you're going to be using that. And also we're messengers. We're sending messages from here to other mesas and all that. We're on foot running, and we go to the fields. One time when I was a young boy, only 3 men had trucks, so everything was on foot. Went to the field and came back, and running was our best part. And the thing is, when we came home from school, elementary, school, some of us guys would gather at the cliff, and half of the boys will go down to the base of the mesa, and they'll run up, and we'll be encouraging, we're yelling at them, yeah, the Lord. And then when they come up, then we go down. We do that so many times before the sun goes down. And it was a lot of fun. And we never thought of it as exercise. We're just doing it for fun. And then after that, um, when I grew up like teenage, then I started to train runners at the village. I would train them in the northwest side of the village. We're running all day, just run. And then when they get stronger, then I take them down the mesa to the sand hills, work their calves. And some of these guys, when they're really tired, they just come crying. But tell them, push us out. And then when there's a meet at the other village, we'll go compete against them. Vice versa, they come to us too. So I did a lot of running, and I ran did the Tricentennial run from Taos to Hopi. Yeah, that was a big event too. In 1980, 56 of us men went to Taos and ran a Tricentennial marathon from Taos.
How many miles? 300.
I don't know.
Like 350 miles, I think. That was, it was, multiple day running event.
Yeah.
Wow. Did you sleep on the road and eat? Like, how did that all work?
We just ate grasshoppers on the road.
Hop on with jump in the mouth, little protein. Yeah.
I was still running. It was a hot day from Kochi. I was running, and you know how you open, mouth open, grasshopper rolled right into my mouth and choked me real bad. and I almost couldn't breathe. So I gave it to my brother, and it was, where you put me down there? Next point. And I had a police escort to give it to my brother, and I went to bark, but nothing's coming out. Said, drink water, it'll come out. I drink water, never came out.
He's a little bit hoppy sometimes. Okay. Would you like to share why the Hopi tribe decides not to let the land be built on? Is that something you can share, or why there's not a target out here? Why the land is open? Is that something you can share about why that is?
Well, there's in our ceremony, there's a lot of things that we do out here, no country ceremonies, so that's why we don't want anything here. Yes, that's all I can say.
Okay, all right. So it's for spiritual reasons. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to share?
I don't know. The language. Oh, the Hopi language programs. I did a little language program in the village, volunteer. I taught young the teachers, and the coke box, the coke box, the bottom of the coke box. Mm-hmm. That was my chalkboard.
Oh wow!
And with the black chalk, charcoal, and I would fill up, turn around, other side, to the side, and put another box up there. That was my chalkboard when I first started. I did about 2.5 years of teaching like that. And nobody got paid; it was all volunteers. It was fun. And we had little dances, and right here in the culture center, we had this conference room. We did a play for the parents, and they were so amazed that their kids are starting to learn Hopi. They speak Hopi, and these kids and they spoke Hopi to each other, and they were so happy with that. And then the high school noticed found out about me, so they hired me on and said, I don't have any college degree or anything, so I can't do that. But I said they'll write the job description to what I did. So I want to apply. I was scared, but I want to apply. And I got the job. And then there was no curriculum and no books, nothing for open class. So me and an umbrella teacher, we sat down and we did the whole year of curriculum. And that's what I followed for 6 years, working up there. And what do you call it? Not a catalyst, huh?
I'm not sure what that.
The person that starts things up, the things.
Oh, like the founder, the initiator.
Yeah. So from then on, language programs came up all over other schools.
Oh no! So you started the Hopi language programs on the reservation for the kids that didn't speak.
And then the Hopi tribe, they only take on our material. And they said, no, you can run with it. I'm just me. And but they did. And now they have a big program too, language program. And I'm just here. Well, I'm really happy. I enjoyed all the time that I taught at the high school. Although I'm not certified. Nobody's certified. Not one person's certified. But I enjoy my time.
Is it possible for you to share a little bit of our conversation earlier about the kids that speak Hopi and how they behave in the classroom, and the kids that only spoke English and how they?
That's immersion.
Oh, okay.
Immersion class. When they come into class, they're all rambunctious and everything. That is too noisy. But then we tell them, take your English out of your mouth and put it in a trash can. They'll have a trash barrel with a lid, and one lady was open the barrel and then put it in anything to close it. Everybody else did that, and then they would sit down. Now it's Hopi. Everybody behaved. Everybody listened to instructions and everything. It was real calm. Then when the class is over, take English back up. Same thing again. So behavior changed. It really changed the behavior.
And I learned something this week about that. The English language is dominant on the left brain. So it brings you out of emotional balance. So it's very much like nouns and logic. And, so my daughter has an eating disorder. And we say, I have an eating disorder, but that's static. That's like, how do you let go of it when you have it? It's like I have an arm. I can't get rid of my arm. But other languages and Native American languages, Hebrew, Aramaic, would say something like, an eating disorder is moving through me. It's more fluid. It's temporary. And then if something's moving through you, then you can ask, do I move it through faster? Or how do I move this through? As opposed to having something and then you're just stuck. So I think that's a profound, and then, the history of taking away the language it was an interesting insight that I found this week. And then when you told me that, I'm like, oh, okay, there it is.
And then when government came in 1884, they made day schools out here, and they didn't know how to speak pronounce Hopi names, so they gave them English names, and that was kind of bad too. And because we have our Hopi names, and we respect those names. And then they gave them English names, and they had a card with English names. I wrote their Hopi names on there, and they took it home for their uncles or parents that designed the clan symbol, all that. They had it on their desk every day until I know them like that. Then, so now up to now, I still know them by their Hopi names. I don't call them by their English names. And over here, the staff, I don't want to call them by their English names.
Yeah.
So that's respect to the person. We try to give them by their English name, or they're my in-laws say, and all that. So that's what we lost. No, ever said, hey, and all that. That's wrong.
Yeah.
You call them by their proper name. That's what I do.
Wow. Well, I so appreciate you sharing this. Is there anything else you'd like to share?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Anything about hand usage? Can we talk about hands you use for drinking water and that, or is that not something for the camera?
No, not for the camera.
Not for the camera. Okay. Well, I have to learn. Okay. Thank you so much.
But one thing, we Hopi, that's Hopi and petroglyphs, so only Hopi can read the petroglyphs. And that handprint loves that. Left hand, abundance, prosperity. Right hand is we come from here, some place. So this I can share.
Okay, so like the right hand marks the place, and the left hand's about abundance.
Yeah, prosperity.
Abundance, okay. Harmonious life. All right, well, that's a great way to leave us. Well, thank you so much, Donald. I really appreciate your time and your insight, and the tour was amazing.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate the tour. I like questions.
Right before I shot that video, Donald introduced me to his godson, Gerald Loma Ventima. Gerald is a highly acclaimed, award-winning Hopi master silversmith and jeweler from the Bear clan of the Shungopavi village on Second Mesa, Arizona. A recipient of the prestigious Southwest Folk Life Alliance Master Apprentice Artist Award. He is deeply dedicated to preserving his heritage by teaching younger generations the traditional Hopi overlay technique and resurrecting historical 1890s-style coin silver jewelry making. Beyond his international reputation as an elite artisan, he carries an extraordinary spiritual and historical lineage. He is the great-grandson of legendary two-time Hopi Olympic distance runner and silver medalist Louis Tewanima. Louis was a POW in 1908 and 1912 when he attended the Olympics, famously refusing to learn English, but serving his tribe in honor at those games. In Gerald's studio, I saw an amazing shadow box pendant. Right here. I didn't know who made it, but I knew I had to have that vintage piece. The original necklace was too small for my neck, so Gerald sold me one of his, and I proudly wore that pendant and necklace out of his shop. That night, I Googled who made it, Victor Kochutewa. My custom shadow box pendant was crafted by the hands of a legendary Hopi master jeweler, Victor Kochutewa. Victor was an Arizona Indian living treasure and a highly decorated World War II veteran who earned a Purple Heart. He originally served with the 116th Combat Military Police, but his elite skills later transferred him into a legendary Special Operations Infantry unit under General Frank Merrill, famously known as Merrill's Marauders. Operating behind enemy lines as the 5307th Composite Unit, Victor and his Special Ops brothers fought through grueling jungle terrain in the Burma campaign. Their highly dangerous mission was to cut open the Burma Road, seize critical Japanese airfields, and literally carve an Allied path through the jungle straight to China. When you look at Victor's history, the global grid clicks perfectly into an alignment. My own master's degree in Chinese religious studies, the very destination Victor was carving a physical path toward amidst the fires of war. After returning home from Burma, Victor used the GI Bill to revolutionize Hopi silversmithing, becoming the very first artisan to texturize the dark, oxidized background plates of overlay jewelry. He lived with absolute humility, famously noting that while jewelry was a hobby, his true spiritual work was dry farming his corn. Intuitively, I often hear from Victor's soul that his purple heart is in my pendant, providing extra courage and protection for my spiritual mission. This physical piece is a flawless visual map of my message, physically bridging the grueling grit of the Burma campaign with the high-frequency artistry of Jungian shadow work. The physics of this silver overlay format perfectly mirror Carl Jung's core rule of shadow integration, utilizing a polished, continuous top layer that is structurally defined by the recessed, oxidized bottom plate to literally make the darkness conscious. Carl Jung famously said, "One does not become enlightened by imagining beings of light, but by making their darkness conscious." Furthermore, Victor's historic innovation of painstakingly texturing this blackened background signifies the alchemizing of multi-generational trauma into textured personal wisdom. This rugged warrior energy perfectly aligns with my own academic destination, bridging his physical path directly to my studies. Ultimately, this pendant serves as a sacred reminder of the lower path of Prophecy Rock, proving that true spiritual sovereignty is anchored by remaining grounded, humble, and in direct alignment with the earth, mimicking Victor's own lifelong philosophy. All three of these remarkable men, Donald, Gerald, and Victor, hail directly from Second Mesa, where their ancient, enduring culture pivots around subterranean ceremonial kivas. Inside these sacred spaces, a physical wooden ladder extends upward through the ceiling opening, symbolically and energetically connecting heaven and earth. This indigenous architectural layout stands in direct, unyielding opposition to the institutionalized Christianity's dogmatic control mechanism, which falsely dictates that the cross is the only ladder to heaven. The Kiva ladder proves that connection to source is not a bloody instrument of public death, but a grounded internal alignment rising straight from the silent womb of Mother Earth. While shopping for this pendant, Gerald and I had an amazing conversation, with one part reminding me of my mission: healing manifest destiny wounds. We talked about the men in my book being fire academy instructors and the FBI. We talked about praying for a better day between the U.S. government and the tribes. Little did I know at that time, but that process was already manifesting real time for tribes on the Great Plains, where cartel activity was most severe and damaging. This profound healing work is not a distant utopian dream. It has already physically manifested in our reality. In the spring of 2026, Kash Patel, director of the FBI, personally broke historical protocol by traveling directly to visit several tribal leadership councils on their own sovereign reservations rather than summoning them to Washington, D.C. He visited the Hopi reservation exactly 3 weeks after I was there. In an act of true masculine protection, he assigned 400 FBI agents to help extricate the cartels from the native lands. The mirror is moving, the physical concessions are happening, and the healing of manifest destiny has officially begun. Thank you so much for traveling the global peace block with me today and opening your heart to the soul-to-soul transmission. If this message resonated with you, please make sure to hit that subscribe button, drop a 5-star review, and share this episode with someone who is ready to remember the divine power they hold within. Make sure your options and notifications are turned on for next week, because we have a brief but vital planetary detour before returning to our American land journey. Next week in episode 6, titled The Giza Code, Updating the Genetic Grid of the Pyramids, we are tracking a massive shamanic triumph from January 5th, 2026. We will look at a powerful meditation coordinated with a spiritual group in Israel that completely updated the global grid between the pyramids of Egypt, setting the stage for episode 7, where we return to the Shenandoah promise to close the door on institutionalized Christianity and reclaim the literal way of love. Until next time, keep trusting your internal authority. Keep surfing the waves of life. And remember, global peace is an inside job. I am Carrie Mae Blazer, the Red Pill Shaman, and I will see you in episode 6.